I've always been a light sleeper, so it's not unusual for me to wake up in the middle of the night at the slightest sound. Usually, it's just the creak of the house settling or the faint hum of traffic outside. But this night was different. This night, I woke up with a feeling I couldn't shake, a heavy, suffocating sensation that someone was watching me. My bedroom was pitch black, the air thick with that oppressive kind of quiet that makes you feel like even your breathing is too loud. I tried to convince myself it was nothing, just my imagination running wild. But the longer I lay there, the stronger the feeling became. I turned my head toward the corner of the room, where the faint outline of my armchair stood in the darkness. And that's when I saw it. A figure. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, adjusting to the dim light. But as I blinked and stared harder, the shape didn't go away. It was a shadowy outline of a person sitting in my chair, perfectly still. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I told myself it had to be a trick of the light, or maybe some clothes draped over the chair creating the illusion. But deep down, I knew better. This wasn't an illusion. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body wouldn't respond. It felt like I was frozen in place, my limbs weighed down by an invisible force. My eyes stayed locked on the figure as my mind raced with questions. Who is this? How did they get in? What do they want? And then it moved. Just slightly, a slow tilt of the head, as if it were acknowledging me. That was enough to break me out of my paralysis. I bolted upright in bed and reached for my phone on the nightstand, fumbling in the darkness to turn on the flashlight. In the few seconds it took for the light to flood the room, my mind was screaming every horror movie cliché imaginable. When the light finally illuminated the corner, the chair was empty. No figure, no shadow. Nothing. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, my flashlight trained on the chair, half expecting something to materialize. But nothing did. Eventually, I convinced myself it was just a bad dream. Maybe I'd been half awake, still caught in the fog of sleep. The next morning, I tried to laugh it off. I told a friend about it, framing it like a silly ghost story. But even as I spoke, I could feel a pit of unease in my stomach. Something about the experience didn't feel like a dream. The following night, I went to bed a little more wary. I made sure the chair was completely empty, no clothes, no blankets, before turning off the lights. I even left my phone next to me, flashlight app open and ready. Sometime in the early hours, I woke up again. The same suffocating feeling was back, heavier this time, like a weight pressing down on my chest. I didn't want to look, but my eyes were drawn to the corner. The figure was there again. This time, it was standing. It didn't move at first, just loomed there in the shadows, its form barely distinguishable. My blood ran cold as I realized it was closer than before, no longer in the chair, but a few steps nearer to my bed. I didn't wait to see what it would do next. With a burst of panic-fueled adrenaline, I turned on my flashlight and swung it toward the figure. Again, nothing. The corner was empty, as if nothing had been there at all. But something was different this time. On the floor where the figure had been standing, there were faint footprints, bare, human footprints, visible in the thin layer of dust on the floorboards. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, I told myself it had to have a logical explanation. Maybe I'd stepped there earlier and hadn't noticed. Maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. But part of me knew better. That evening, as I was getting ready for bed, I noticed something that sent a fresh wave of fear through me. The chair. It had been moved. Just slightly, angled differently than I'd left it. I didn't sleep in my room that night. I locked the door, grabbed my blanket, and spent the night on the couch in the living room. But even there, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. I haven't seen the figure since that night, but every now and then, I still wake up with that same heavy feeling, like eyes are on me, watching from the shadows. I don't know who or what it was. I don't know how it got in, or why it chose me. But I do know one thing for certain: whatever it wasn't a dream.